Hello everyone and welcome to the Trade Ideas Live Trading Room recap for Friday, July the 29th. My name is Barry Anderson. I'm the moderator of the Trading Room. This is the address to get into the room, and it is a free room. You do not have to be a member of Trade Ideas. I share my screen all day long, and I get live on the mic between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. If you want to take out a subscription to Trade Ideas, you can use this link, and the promo code, which will expire July the 31st, which is Sunday night at around midnight Eastern Time. The promo code is KEY2DRIVE. That's KEY, the number 2, drive, D-R-I-V-E, all in caps, all right? Well, my goodness, what an incredibly exciting day in our room today. You know, everybody says that during the summer, things slow down. Well, I'm telling you, our room has been just hopping. We always have things to trade, and today was no exception. Let's take a look at this one, MCRB. And now, I certainly don't want to make light of the fact if you happen to be one of those poor souls that had MCRB overnight, or was a sort of a long-term investment for you. Here's where it closed yesterday, 35.70, and received the horrible news. This is the 29th. This is in the pre-market today. Horrible news on a phase 2 study that they're doing. Obviously, the news was not good. So can you imagine $36 all the way down to $7.83? Now, I actually played this a little bit in the pre-market. I don't normally do this, but I was watching this little pattern as it was bouncing. Got in and out at 8.52. Got in at, 8.52 and sold some at 8.66 and 8.58. However, as I told the room, these trades were not, I was not posting these trades. You have to be on your own. But I ended up scalping in and out right around this area several times. I think I had 3 wins and 1 loss. And now it looks like it's, we'll have to see what happens at $10. I'm actually able to short this one. I'm sort of surprised. A lot of times I don't understand. My broker will have these to short, but it won't have like Visa for some reason. So I don't get it. This is a fairly low float stock too at 19 million. Anyway, this has to be watched next week. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some research on this one over the weekend. I don't know if this is like a one-trick pony. In other words, it only has the one drug in its pipeline, and that's it. So now it doesn't mean they're discontinuing research on it all. It just means that the phase 2 results weren't good. But obviously, I mean, this is what can happen. This is the risk you run by holding bios. This is exactly what can happen. Out of the clear blue. I mean, that's just devastating for people. Anyway, so that was certainly the most exciting trade for everybody in the room. However, I have to also mention HOG. HOG, Real called this one probably about here, and he called he called 2 in the room today that I paid attention to. This one PLD, and this is the one I took. Made a little profit on it. Still may get back into it later on in the day if it can break through 54.50. And HOG is the one I didn't take. So this is the one obviously I should have took. Look at the incredible move. I did partake in a very short live short right here. I was looking to short it up in this area. Real was talking about shorting it, and my broker didn't have shares for me at the time. I finally did get shares, and I basically just took a little scalp short. Now, the other, but the one that really made my day came from Holly, and it was fairly early. Holly gave the trade at, let's see, right here. So here was the trade at 9:36. The alert was at 3:14. Okay. Holly had a great day today, by the way. At the very beginning, so many things were just working. It was a really excellent day for her. But somebody was saying, well, yeah, but if I take the trade right when Holly says every single one of them, I may not win. And you're completely right. Holly is not meant to be just that black box where you blindly take the trade on the entry. And I mean, you can try, you can do it. I'm not saying it'll never work, but I tend to watch a little bit. I mean, here was the entry was at 3:14. I watched it just a little bit to see how it was trading. I liked the way it looked. I think also I liked the way it looked on the daily chart. I really didn't see very much. If I back it out, I didn't see very much resistance up until this area. Maybe, maybe up here, and that's kind of where it stalled. But on a percentage basis, I thought this looked for me, because a lot of these early
Hey
hollies.
Barry, anything exciting while I was away?
Oh, just a minute, Dan. I've got to mute you. I'm doing the video, Dan. So just hold on a second, okay? All right. So I just had to mute our CEO who popped into our trading room. Anyway, so Cloud Peak Energy turned out to be a really, really great trade for me. Remember now, on a percentage basis, this turned out, let's see, I'll show you where I got in and where I got out. So got in at 323 right here, all right, and then it just popped. Look how far up it went. Again, remember, this is a really, really short period of time also. So I got in at 323. I sold some out at 333, 352, and 351. Basically, on that one trade alone, my day was in essence done. All right. I mean, in the old days, as I say, when I was not a moderator of a trading room, I probably would have just packed it in and gone to the golf course. But of course, I'm hanging around all day long. A lot of fun, believe me, a lot of fun. Definitely keeps me alert and trying to find good setups. Not necessarily for myself, I'm because I can get into a real rut or bad habit of really over trading, and if I really have to kind of rein myself in a little bit. Anyway, EVOK though was the one kind of the disappointment, but I would be watching this one next week. Tried to trade this twice, and I was waiting for this big breakthrough four. And again, if you take a look at the daily chart, perhaps you'll see why. Look at this incredible void we've got. Now, the only problem is we do have a little overhang here. Let me just see what the 200-day moving average is. I think it's, yeah, see, the 200-day moving average is at 434 right there. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an alert right there. Just going to entitle it moving average. Type, there we go. Type that a little bit better. So I'm just going to stick that in there. So now I'll know if it comes, not necessarily today, I doubt if it's going to happen today, but if it happens next week and crosses that moving average, then we've got this massive potential void that could be filled. So it could be pretty exciting. Now there is a new strategy called the washout bounce, which if you want it, you can. I'll certainly be glad to email it to you. Called the washout bounce. Tested incredibly well. Now I made a mistake on it. I did get into this trade here, NEWM, and I didn't realize. Get to the 15-minute chart. When I first saw it, I think it was at just over 18. So I ended up taking it. It was holding that 18 mark. So I took the trade. I think it was at 18.12. I didn't realize though that the first alert actually happened at 1788, and I had missed the fact. I like a lot of times on strategies. What I'll do is I will or Windows. I will put a don't repeat for the day, and I just missed that fact. So I got in very late on this one. But I did trade CVX. I think CVX was one that was alerted to a high-priced one, and I think I took almost $1 out of it. Again, on a percentage basis, not that great, but this is definitely one that I'm going to be watching next week a lot. It's called the washout bounce, and if you want it, I'll email it to you. And that is really just about it. TRX. I'm still in this one. This is the swing I had from yesterday. Tested me just a little bit here. I was saying I'm in at 137. I was saying that if it broke down below 130, I would probably get out, and then perhaps resume the trade if it made it back up to this area. 135 was kind of a resistance area. 135, 136. So that's why I got in at this level, but didn't quite hold. But it looks like it's trying to hold. Very boring trade. 100 million shares in the float, so that's one reason why it may not be moving that quickly. But again, if you look at the daily chart on it, this is kind of what I'm looking at. back out a little bit here. Okay. So this is what I'm looking at. So when we're at this level here, move it just a bit further out. So when we're at this level right here at 140, yeah, we might have a little bit of a struggle right here, but on a percentage move, or a percentage basis, that would be a great move. Obviously two, but I was just looking kind of at this void, and once it broke through, once it broke through, you know, this level right here, I thought, well, this might turn into a decent swing trade that I can maybe tuck away and just kind of forget about it. So at this point, that's what I'm doing. Still in the XCOM. XCOM had a little flurry of activity early. Still in the XCOM, and if it goes down below 180, I'll probably have to think about getting rid of some. But remember, I'm in at 116. I got into this trade. I can't remember if it was this day or that day, but it probably was this day right here, and it might have been this day. I think, yeah, it was this day because I sold some off. So I'm in at 116. So I'm sitting pretty, obviously. I mean, but it did have a little pop up to 228. A few days ago it was 235. This is, potentially a resistance area. So I have to see what happens. See if it can get back over 2 and, gain people's confidence again that it can remain over 2 and not keep sliding away. All right. Well, listen, what a week it's been. It's just been a fantastic week. Holly's been performing. You just have to learn how to trade around it. It is not a black box where you take every single trade right at the entry. Especially if you watch, if Holly, if you get in, if you see Holly on an entry and then it immediately starts to go against you, if you didn't take the trade, then start watching it. And then when it starts to maybe move back to where the original entry was, or starts moving, back, especially if the market is starting to help, maybe that's when you get in. It's meant to be traded around also, but it's an excellent watch list. And a lot of the alerts now are based on earnings. So a lot of times you can just kind of hang on for a bit because an earnings play, generally speaking, will be somewhat active all day. It usually won't just fizzle out, especially some of the smaller ones, because this is kind of their day. Apple and Facebook and all, they're active all the time. But some of these ones that release earnings once every 3 quarters, if they're good or there's something special about them, those are the days where they can be very, very active and great for the shareholders. So all right. Well, listen, everybody have a great weekend. It's a long weekend in Canada, but I'll certainly be in the trading room. This is the address to get into the room. And I usually open the room at about 8:45. That's when I start sharing my screen, and I get live on the mic between 9 and 4 Eastern Daylight Time. Again, this is the link to use, and key to drive, KEY, the number 2, and drive, DRIVE. Key to drive is the promo code that is good until Sunday night at around midnight Eastern Daylight Time. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in our trading room on Monday. Bye-bye.